This is a bad time to bring up that I'm afraid of heights. About 5 to 8 inches dropped on Manny in the last 24 hours. Police and trainers alike say you have to choose precaution over play. Plastics, aluminum, paper, and cardboard. This has now become a crime scene. This is where those rolling shootouts finally came to a rest. We're going to show you right there. That white car right there is where the shootings, is what the shooting suspects were driving. President-elect Donald Trump flying into Baton Rouge was still just a rumor as recently as Wednesday, but now it's reality. Baton Rouge firefighters and volunteers have been making boat rescues here in the high waters in the neighborhoods of Baton Rouge all day today as the waters and rains continue to rise.
Thank you for bringing us out, Lord. Thank you.
A prayer of thanks from one of hundreds of people needing rescuing from the high waters. Firefighters waiting home by home in the flooded Highland Road neighborhood with the help of native Todd Terrell, who volunteered to truck them through.
They were actually trying to rescue some people and they couldn't get them out and they didn't have a boat. So I told them, hey, I got a P-roll, you want to use it? And they were like, sure.
We had 3 people trapped at 2236 Kentucky.
This combo of firefighters and volunteers added their efforts to the more than 1,000 people rescued across the state. In Zachary, authorities and volunteers helped evacuate the elderly from a flooded town and country mobile village.
The uncertainty of where to go, because all the roads around us are closed, really. So we've been trying to figure out how to exactly evacuate.
Those pulled from the water say they're just thankful for their lives.
We're so grateful for you guys. The Lord also sends angels to be on assignment, so we're so grateful that we were able to get out.
And Terrell says he'll keep trucking through these floods.
This is a tragedy, and Baton Rouge has gone through a lot of tragedies here lately. And this is one where everybody just needs to put their differences aside and come together and help.
Firefighters and volunteers say they'll continue to keep making trips to people out to their homes, rescuing them, making sure they get back on dry land as the floods continue to be battled here in Baton Rouge. I'm Nick Lawton reporting for the Raycom News Network. Shreveport police officer Brian Ross's dash cam video captures the pivotal moment. Shots are fired at 17-year-old Darian Miles tearing across Hearn Avenue, with Lieutenant Matt Prunty and Police Chief Alan Crump in hot pursuit. In the video, as Chief Crump crosses the median, he raises his arm. We hear a pop and see a black object tumble from his hand. Miles was one of 3 suspects from an alleged attempted car burglary outside a local business over on Hollywood Avenue, who was trying to escape on foot. The same call that Chief Crump says he got while on patrol.
The next thing I really pick up on is a officer saying, I got him on Corbett. I go up Hearn Avenue, make a right on Corbett. I actually see the gentleman running. I see the officer chasing him, so I pull over, exit my vehicle.
This is the interview Chief Crump gave the Shreveport Police Department after he was placed on paid departmental leave for firing his weapon while chasing a suspect. In it, Chief Crump says he began the pursuit after pulling over, and then he says he heard gunfire.
I hear what I believe to be 3 rapid shots, pow, pow, pow. And so I'm looking to try to see if I can see anything. I don't see anybody. And then I hear officer down, and the suspect is said to be running west, crossing Hearn.
Which brings us to here. According to Crump's own words, he says he fired his weapon based on the shots he heard and the call of Officer Down, and when he saw Miles turn from the chase toward him.
When he slowed and made the motion to turn back toward me, that's what it appeared to me. He was turning back toward me, having already heard this gunfire and the transmission that went on. I had no reason not to believe that he wouldn't fire at me too. So I fired.
But both his and Lieutenant Prunty's shots would miss.
After firing that shot, I don't know who it was. I heard a yell, and after I shot, the gentleman straightened up or turned back forward and continued to head in a westerly direction in that backyard.
The dashcam video shows after the object fell from Crump's hand, he fell over trying to pick it up.
As I was proceeding on across the street to go into the yard behind him, I trip and fall, and I lose sight of him.
After falling, Crump says he took cover because a call went out to hold the perimeter.
I held there by that pole. I think Lieutenant Prunty remained there with me, and then the next thing I really remember hearing is some officers giving instruction for him to get down, and they said they had him, and that was pretty much it.
Miles was ultimately caught and charged with simple burglary and resisting an officer. At the conclusion of his interview with SPD, Chief Crump says he was just happy no one was hurt.
And I'm glad that everybody, at least as it relates to that part, is all right. The officers and the individual is all right.
Take a minute and think about your arms and hands. They help us drive. They help us eat. They help us keep up at work and stay connected to the world. But just imagine living your life without them.
Well, no blood. We did okay.
For Tullis native Bill Bradford, that's been his reality every day since 1986, the day he was working on a building in Winfield, holding a piece of rebar in his hands when a transformer arced out.
It arced out and hit that piece of rebar. It went in my arms, and I had a set of keys in my pocket and blowed out. The exit wound was my leg.
Bradford remembers every moment of the shock.
I thought my back was going to break because, you know, your muscles contract so tight.
Then the transformer blew. He fell off the building, and Bradford says that saved his life.
I was dead when I left the top of the building, and when I hit the ground, my nose and my toes hit at the same time, and it was enough compression to get my heart going.
Bradford was a 29-year-old man who knew his loss the moment he hit the ground.
My arms was up in front of me, and I knew I was going to lose them.
Now, 28 years, 25 surgeries, and 2 prosthetic arms later, Bill wakes up, pours 2 cups of coffee grounds in the machine, and fires up the griddle.
What you think?
That's delicious.
You got to get that right angle. Some tasks take a lot longer. Practice, 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 I guess you'd say.
He plays with his dogs Coco and Jackie across the field of his Calhoun home.
She's been the ball chaser ever since.
Then he gets in his car and drives, something he's learned to do again. He even volunteered driving a food bank truck for a couple years.
I really enjoyed that. Go to all the different Walmarts and Sam's and stuff like that. Pick up whatever food they was donating to go to the food bank.
What's been one of the things you've missed most?
Shooting.
Shooting. Now the former Marine says he tries to help wherever he can. He's worked with the Percy R. Johnson Burn Foundation for 7 years and was a prison evangelist for 11.
Faith in the Lord Jesus Christ is my main thing.
He also served as a certified peer visitor for Amputee Empowerment Partners based in Oklahoma City, counseling burn victims and amputees, adult and child alike.
There is life after amputation. I mean, you know, they can still live a full, productive life if they want to. Yes, there's going to be limitations with their life, but usually we all live with limitations anyway.
Bill says he's relearned to do everything he used to do with arms to send the message to never give up, no matter what. And if a story can be told from the life of one man, it's a story of perseverance, a story of hope.
Just continue on. You might not make a mile in progress in one day, but you might make a few inches. Inches is all it takes. Not too bad, huh?
Nick Lawton, Fox 14 News.